Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am with Andre from Relocation Services in Serbia, and we are at the St. Regis here on Belgrade waterfront, and I'm really excited to have this collaboration because I'm here in Belgrade, he's in Novi Sad, and we thought, let's come and have a conversation about expat life in Belgrade, or sorry, in Serbia, because I know Belgrade is not Serbia, and since we are also in the same industry, helping people to come move here, and he is Canadian Serbian,
that's right,
and I'm American, not Serbian yet. We have a lot to talk about what expat life or immigrant life is like here in Serbia. So
Definitely.
Let's get started.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great. All right, so Andre, tell me, when did you move to Serbia and why? Why Serbia?
So I moved here November 9th of 2023. I wanted to move many years ago before that, but my wife being Canadian, she was a little hesitant, but we actually made the move then. And what we wanted a change in life. In Canada, it's not what it used to be at one point, and being born and raised there, we've seen the decline of Canada and what it once was to what it is now, the cost of living, the education system, so on and so forth. And we were just like, you know what, there's got to be something different. And so I told her, I'm like, maybe this is the time to move to Serbia. You've never been outside of Canada. I've been to Serbia many times, and something always pulled me towards Serbia.
Well, you are Serbian. Your family is Serbian.
Yes, true enough. It is true enough, but growing up life in Canada most of my life, it was still a transition because the lifestyle here is much different than it is in North America and Canada. The mentality of people is much different. So still adjustment, even though I speak, read, and write the language. I was raised in the Serbian culture. I still was an adjustment, but not as much as someone perhaps for you who has none of that.
Okay, so you read and write Serbian, and many Serbian Canadians I've met, they're Cyrillic at least, or writing is not as strong. But you grew up in a home where your grandparents spoke Serbian to you, had Saturday schools, learned the language. How big is the Serbian community in Canada?
Well, my part in Kitchener, Ontario, which is where I was born, is a huge Serbian community. There's 2 Serbian Orthodox churches there. Even close to Toronto, there's a lot of Serbian community there. We had a lot of folk dancing. Absolutely. We traveled Chicago. We traveled all across Canada, United States. English is my second language. Grandparents lived with me, so living in a Serbian household, I had to learn Serbian first. I went to Saturday school because my parents wanted me to learn the Cyrillic language. And being in that culture, as in folk dancing, you still went to the Orthodox church, so on and so forth.
Amazing.
So yeah, it was great.
Amazing. And did you celebrate your Slavas when you were growing up?
Yeah. We celebrated Sveti Nikola, which is my Slava. We had Christmas, January 7th, New Year's, January 14th, and all that stuff. But we also celebrated December 25th because in Canada, exactly. And being that in Canada, if you're in school, you have that time off, but then you have to tell them, hey, listen, right after Christmas holidays, I need to then go on holidays again for my own Christmas.
What is it like renting or building a life in Novi Sad? Is it much more affordable?
Yeah, well, we bought a place in Novi Sad. We were able to buy a 2-bedroom apartment there for 70,000 euros.
Really?
Yeah, we're not in the center. We're 15 minutes outside of the center.
That's still a good price.
Yeah, exactly. And it was 70,000 because it was actually 76,000 euros. But because I was a Canadian or a Serbian citizen, I was able to get that tax money back.
Okay, great.
But yeah, it's a lot quieter. It's a lot of parking, and it's smaller communities, which is something I like as well.
Great. What is going on? Why are more Serbian Canadians coming to Serbia?
Well, like I mentioned, the quality of life is not what it once used to be. The wages aren't making ends meet anymore. The mindset of people in Canada has also deteriorated. especially when it comes to certain, agendas or cultures.
Okay, let me stop you there. I know wokeness is not a thing here in Serbia, and many people like that because a man is a man, a woman is a woman,
That's right.
and people want to raise their children at least in a society where
That's
there are
right.
clear gender roles.
Exactly, and that's one of the main reasons people do it. One of the reasons we came here is because my wife was pregnant, and and she's in school, and she's seeing what's happening in the school system in Canada. She's like, we're not raising a child in this culture anymore, right? Yeah, exactly.
I know. For me, I am single, child free, but if I were to have a family, I definitely want to raise a family here or in a society where it's safe to send your children to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
And where family life is valued.
Yeah.
And in Serbia, family is sacred. People do spend a lot of time.
Exactly.
And it's so nice to see men actually spend time and play with their children
Of
and wear like
course.
baby straps and push the carriages.
Yeah.
Like American men are just still like, oh, I'm a man, I can't take care of my children. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, like, there's no crime here. I'm sure you feel...
there isn't. I feel so safe.
Exactly.
As a woman, I feel like
Definitely.
Serbia, at least here in Belgrade, is the safest city ever. Like I can walk at any time of the day.
That's right.
Night, morning. No one's gonna follow me. There's no catcalling.
Exactly.
People keep to themselves, and like people, if you give eye contact, they're like, okay, are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
it's really safe. I don't know how it is in Canada. I've heard stories
Yeah.
where like people just get robbed.
Well, yeah, you get the home invasions are at an all-time high there. The car robberies are at an all-time high, to the point that the cops have even said, "Hey, listen, if they're coming to rob your car, leave your keys at the front door so that you don't get hurt."
I think I read about that
Yeah.
online, and people are like, this is ridiculous. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so many things. Novi Sad, we live in Novi Sad, and we see the kids playing on the roads. Girls 6 and 7 years old
Yes.
going to the store to pick up supplies for their moms and,
Wow.
and walking by themselves, and nobody's bothering them.
Wow,
it's
that's-
really refreshing.
Great. I'm in Belgrade. He's in Novi Sad. So why did you choose Novi Sad?
It's interesting you said that or asked that question, is because being that I came to Serbia many times in my life, being 13 when I was the first time here, we visited the southern part where my parents are from, and when we came here, we stayed in Belgrade for 7 days a week, and we were like, it's nice, but it's too busy for us. But then my wife being pregnant, she didn't have temporary residency yet. I was still in the process of getting my citizenship. We're like, we need a private hospital. And so we found that there's a hospital in Novi Sad called GEA. We went there, had a great experience, paid out of pocket. And yes, Belgrade does have them, but we just didn't want to deal with the big metropolitan lifestyle.
Interesting. So I guess maybe family life is better in Novi Sad. It's a bit more quieter than Belgrade.
I would say it's a lot more quieter. It's a lot more quieter. You don't have the nightlife you would have in Novi Sad. Not saying that there is no nightlife, but it's not as predominant. It's more laid back, relaxed, and I think that's what we look for.
Okay. So, I mean, I love Belgrade because I'm a single girl. I love the city, and I love to be able to have a social life. Not saying that Novi Sad there isn't,
Yeah.
but I've been to Novi Sad maybe 3 times, and it's just, I prefer Belgrade. But I think either way, both cities
Yeah.
are great, whether you're single or you have a family,
Yeah.
and of course, very safe. What is the reputation of Serbia and Canada?
Very much the same as what the United States has. It's war torn. There's no food. It's a very poor country. There's not much happening infrastructure wise. And even when we were leaving at the airport in Toronto, there were signs saying, "Don't move to travel warning for Serbia because of increased violence." Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I've
Yeah,
been to Toronto, and that is not a safe
Right,
city.
yeah. Let's talk about the kettle calling in black.
Now that you're here, you're established, you started Relocation Serbia.
Yeah, of course.
So why that specific business?
Well, as a Serb that knows how to speak and read the right language, I had a hard time trying to navigate the logistics of citizenship by descent. Getting sent this way, that way, and getting misinformation. I always thought, like, how would someone do it if they were coming here and didn't speak and write the language? How would they be taken advantage of and not to experience the hardships that I had to go through, and then some getting a complete. So that's kind of why I, started it, because I was like, there's always going to be a better way. I'm very entrepreneurial, business minded, and if I can find an easier way, why not? Yeah.
It's definitely needed here. I came here in 2022, and it took me a while to find a good lawyer, to find a bookkeeper, and to navigate the system. I mean, I've been an expat for a decade, so I know going into a place, not knowing anybody, not knowing the language, there's always going to be some mistakes made. But there is definitely a gap in the market for those that want to help foreigners settle here.
For sure. And having that quality of service of actually taking it right to the end. It's easy to go pay a lawyer to get your business set up done, but then going to the places to actually finish up your residency and what paperwork needs notarization and translations and all that, like there's so many moving parts that you're not told right off the bat.
Do you think Serbia is a great place for foreigners to start a business, to buy property, to live their best expat life? Or for Serbian repatriates, we need to do you think it's good for more Serbs to come back to Serbia?
Yes, and there's an abundance of them actually that left former Yugoslavia that we're working with, that left for Canada, United States, Australia, and now we're looking to come back. And it's great to see all the foreign place people bringing their vehicles back here.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. They're shipping them here because it's a lot cheaper to just do that, especially if you have a newer vehicle, right? So bringing them in here, you see, it's funny seeing Ontario plates, Washington, Wisconsin. It's great, and I think it's a very developing country that has a lot of opportunity. Where anyone who has a little bit of wanting to get ahead in life and still being affordable, they can do that here.
Okay, Serbs, you heard it from him. Everyone says I'm just unrealistically optimistic, but he's Serbian, and this optimism was a bit new for me. So he sees it. There's opportunity here. I think Serbia is at a good time where if you have a good idea, you're talented, you do the work, you can really scale a business.
Oh, definitely. And like the strategic location of Serbia is really great. You have access to both east and west. The new Dubai and Switzerland
of the Balkans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see that happening here.
Amazing. Okay, you heard it from him. I know sometimes everyone's sick of my optimism, but it's really good to hear from someone that has established a business and helping people also return here and live here.
Come here to Serbia and actually start a business, especially when it comes to IT, any of that type of, technology type of businesses. Great infrastructure, really knowledgeable youth here that are very, bilingual in Serbian and in English.
Yeah, I was really surprised. So many people speak really good English here. There are a lot of American and Canadian companies here that outsource their customer service here. So it's really good, easy to find the talent here and people that have that really clear North American type of accent. I really appreciate you joining me here today. We just finished our afternoon tea. To my channel, subscribe to Andre's channel, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.